So Diane and I are on Facebook together, and she found out that I'm doing an all Rumi night in a weekend in about 10 days. I'm really looking forward to it. It's something I've always wanted to do. So it's given me a chance to spend more time with Rumi, and I've just never, ever read Rumi and walk away dissatisfied. It just doesn't happen. I always learn something. I always gain some insight. I always feel that my mood shifts really intensely. So in light of our conversation we just had, I'm glad Rumi can enter into the conversation with us, because it's a reminder, I think.
And I have one quick question. They're not
Yes.
streaming it, right? They're not Zooming it?
We're not streaming it. I'll ask them if they will, but I'm not really in charge of it. They just asked me to come.
Okay.
But it is in town, Diana, if you'd like to come. It's the 17th in East Asheville, and it's Dances of Universal Peace, but they're shifting it to actually a full zikr with poetry.
Where is it going to be?
I'll send you the information. It's the Hall Creek Commons, near where Kathy and Tom used to live.
Okay.
Very close to where they used to live. I think it'll be quite lovely. So Rumi died on the 17th of December, so it is actually a remembrance of his life. And so I'm just going to open with my very favorite Rumi poem. Anybody have any questions about Rumi? We sometimes talk about his life and sometimes we don't, but today I was mostly going to read poetry rather than really talk about the progress of his life, since we've discussed that before, although it's always so nice to revisit it. So I'm gonna recite Love Dogs, which is my favorite Rumi poem, and which you all have heard, but you could hear it 1,000 times, I think, and not get tired of it. One night, a man was crying out, Allah, Allah. His lips grew sweet with the praising, until a cynic said, so, I have heard you crying out, but have you ever heard anything back? The man had no answer for that. He quit praying and fell into a confused sleep. He dreamt he saw an angel, the guide of souls, in a thick green foliage. Why did you stop praising? Because I never heard anything back. This grief you are crying out from is the return message. Your pure sadness asking for help is the secret cup. Your longing draws you towards union. Listen as a dog moans for its master. That whining is the connection. There are love dogs no one knows the names of. Give your life to be one of them. I know, it's so good, right? So good.
So what does love dogs mean?
Love dogs, it refers to his metaphor of, if you're so lucky, you could be a dog, moaning for what it is you want in the world. Be that, be like the loyalty and the devotion and the intense love that dogs have. They just never get tired of it, even if you're not nice to them, they still love you, It's so great.
Don't you think it's also the longing, like the longing to be with the master?
Yes.
Of the dog. He said that, yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and such a reminder, since Sufism has a lineage of masters, such a great reminder that whoever your master is, that longing that you have to be with that person is the doorway. As we all, I think, have experienced in our lives, that love is the doorway. Absolutely, yeah. Good comments. that poem had a big impact on me, because I used to think that grief really had the power to put me in the grave. And when I heard this poem, it was a big epiphany for me. I realized that grief was really a doorway for all of us. And Cahill Gibran says the deeper that grief carves into our heart, the more joy we can contain. And I think there's something to that. Hence, Baba being so hard on his disciples and really putting people through so many paces that were so difficult for people. It really became their doorway for lots of things. So
what you just said is so interesting, because I just want to make a connection, if I may. I remember Rainey saying once that, I think she said that if you work at hitting the low notes lower, it allows you to go into the high notes higher. Somehow that stretch works both ways. I may not be remembering it correctly, but it sounds good anyway, doesn't it?
That's fascinating. I've never heard that, but I would not be surprised by the way at all if that was true. It's part of the paradox of life, really, when you think about it. The grief, carving grief into the heart creates a place for joy.
I was attracted to this one line that says, "Grief is when love has no place to go."
Wow. Yeah. Well, who are you quoting? Yeah, that's a good one.
Probably Jeff Wolverton, but I don't know.
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
Well, this is a poem I'm in the middle of memorizing, which touches.
And would you read that one again later? The first one?
Love Dogs?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I know. So good. This is a poem I'm currently memorizing, which I don't have memorized yet. So, but it touches into some of the things we're talking about, and I love it. It's called Secret Places. Lovers find secret places inside this violent world where they make transactions with beauty. Reason says, nonsense. I have walked and measured the walls here. There is no place like that. Love says, there are. Reason sets up a market and begins doing business. Love has more hidden work. Lovers feel a truth inside themselves that rational people keep denying. It's reasonable to say surrender is just an idea that keeps people from leading their lives. Every second, a voice of love comes from the other side. Who needs to go sightseeing? We came from a majesty, and we go back there. We hear a surging inside our chests, an agreement we made in eternity. The wave of that agreement rolled in and sealed the body's boat. Another wave will smash us. Then the meeting we have wanted will occur. My favorite line in that poem is, we came from majesty and we go back there. Just love that so much. It's interesting that, Rumi experienced such profound grief, and that his poems, while they are hopeful and love-filled, do typically reach at some point into that grief in some level. I've noticed that about his poems. They don't linger there, but he adds it in more times than not. This one is called Inhale Autumn. Union is a watery way. In an eye, it is the point of light. In the chest, the soul. Don't cover your chest. Stay open there. Someone asked me, what is love? Don't look for an explanation. Dissolve into me and you will know when it calls. Respond. Walk out as a lion. Walk out as a rose. Inhale autumn. Long for spring. You that change the dull field, who give conversation to damaged ears. Make dying alive. Award guardianship to the wandering mind. You who erase the five senses at night, who give the lover heroic strength. Hear what someone said. Lose your life if you seek eternity. The master who teaches us is absolute light, not this visibility. Any comments? I'm going to play a video that I found. I actually had not seen before. I was very excited to find it. And I can screen share, right, as a co-host, Diana? Yeah, okay.
Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. All right. Who makes these changes? I shoot an arrow right, it lands left. I ride after a deer and find myself chased by a hog. I plot to get what I want and end up in prison. I dig pits to trap others and fall in. I should be suspicious of what I want.
A little jumpy sound wise.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, is there a way we can listen to it again?
It was very difficult to hear.
I did share screen. Yeah, I'll try. Let me try. I have another one to watch. Maybe that will be a little bit better, but let me start it over and see. Well, I might have not done the let's try again.
I just want to say hi, Tracy. Hi, Diana.
Hi,
Rob.
Terry. Good
Hi,
to see
Terry.
you. Let's see if this is better. I optimized for sound. Give me a thumbs up if it sounds better.
Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. All right, this is good. Who makes these changes? I shoot an arrow right, it lands left. I ride after a deer and find myself chased by a hog. I plot to get what I want and end up in prison. I dig pits to trap others and fall in. I should be suspicious of what I want.
Good. I'm glad that was better. I forgot to do the optimized sound. I always forget to do that. I apologize.
How many years ago was that? Because you told me he's not doing well now, right?
Yeah, he has had several strokes. He's in his 80s now, and he is no longer performing. And it's one of the reasons I'm so happy to be sharing Rumi poetry at this Zikr, because I feel like now that Coleman Barks is not performing, it's going to be so nice for people to fill in a little bit and just, continue sharing that audibly so people can actually sit and listen. It's such a different experience listening to it, especially with music, I
What are you
think.
calling it, a Zikr?
It's a Zikr, yeah. The Zikr is, it's the word translates directly as the word remembrance, but Zikr is it's really the act of praise in Sufism, and it's a meditation, it's a ceremony, it's a time of remembrance, remembering God. So it's called Zikr. And
I think I'm in a 24-hour Zikr then.
what?
I think I'm in a 24-hour Zikr then.
Good
About
for
the
you.
Zikr.
Good for you.
I try anyway.
Right? It is the goal, definitely. Yeah. It's interesting because in many parts of the Middle East, the women are not allowed to perform Zikr. They have to sit behind a screen and not be seen and not be heard. They can witness it, and they're probably singing by themselves, but they're not really allowed to participate with the men, because it's believed that that you go into such a state of longing, and such a state of ecstasy, that they're afraid. Only men would come up with this, right? They're afraid that if women are present, that it'll be distracting to their relationship to God. So they make women sit in the back. Huh. I'm glad we don't have to do that here.
Even with Bubba, he created a way with the mandali, the women mandali, to stay separate from the men.
Yes.
Because
Good.
he needed to set up boundaries, and he needed to make sure that they really got what they're doing. It took me a long time to make my peace with it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And I get it now. He needed total obedience for them to carry out his work after he wasn't there anymore. He really needed men and women who were going to act appropriately and not screw around, literally and figuratively.
Yeah,
So, but why all women in a country need to wear a hat on their head, that's another story.
right.
Or
Absolutely.
stay behind a screen or not be able to participate. I'm a
Yeah.
Jew, and that happens, culturally for our religious Jews as well.
Exactly. Yeah. I know that there are certain sects of Judaism that the men and women have to sit in separate parts of the
Right.
synagogue. Yeah. Yeah. We
And
were
they
talking,
wear the hat so that they won't be appealing to the opposite sex,
And the wig.
and the wig.
right.
So it's all the same stuff. It's all about men who can't contain themselves,
Right.
creating these rules and regulations so that they'll contain themselves and
I
put
think
it on the woman's responsibility.
I think with Baba, he had his own reasons, and we can't
Totally.
know. We can't know. I mean, he had work with women, he had work with men. That's beyond anything that I think I can understand or know.
But I had to get there. It was just a way of getting there. At first it was hard for me with Mira. I'm a feminist, I'm a lesbian, I came out, 40 years ago. So the rules and regulations of my sect were, women should be strong, and, it was very different. They weren't supposed to be subservient. So
Right.
I had to figure it out.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. It was my journey, not,
Yeah.
but I get it now, but I
Yeah.
didn't, I had to figure it out.
Yeah. I think we all had to figure it out. And thank you for sharing that. I went through a similar thing when I realized what was happening with Mira. I was like, what? And then I came to understand, as Diana, you're pointing out, that I could not 100% understand that, but that I had to just trust that Baba was acting on Mira's best interest and the best interest of everybody there. And that was hard for me when I first heard about it. I'm sure it was hard for a lot of people, actually. Yeah. I think there is something too, I've never really been a follower of any spiritual teacher. So, but I do know from talking to people who are disciples of other teachers that obedience is something that you find in lots of paths that yeah. So, and I struggle with that one as well. I have to say, in all honesty, I've never not done something that Bob has asked me to do. I didn't do something once that he asked me to do, and he was very clear with me. Hey, pay attention. You're not paying attention, and it was a loss for me. So on that level, I guess I do believe in obedience, but I do sometimes struggle with it on a bigger picture. Like we all do, I'm sure. I think Laurent was just telling me we were talking about Baba's comments about the Western women. And he said, because we had a lot of Western women who were followers and devout followers. And he said that there was, and I'm not quoting it exactly, but more or less he said, the difficulty with the Western women was just almost unparalleled. Like he almost had nothing to compare it to. How difficult it was for the women to get along with each other and to be obedient and to be in a place where things went smoothly. I thought, oh, okay, that's something to think about. So, yeah. The lovely thing to me about Mir Baba is that we have so many stories of spiritual teachers abusing their power with people. We have so many stories of that in really, really, really inappropriate ways. And we know that Mir Baba never did that. And I am so grateful to him that he was someone that people could trust with their money, with their children, with their sexuality, all the typical things that bring spiritual teachers down did not happen with Mir Baba. And it's always been something that has just been so relieving to my heart that Mir Baba was a trustworthy teacher. And as so many we're not. This is another favorite Rumi poem called The Guest House. This being human is a guest house. Every day, a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even the crowd of sorrows violently sweeps through your house, emptying it of its furniture, or you get stuck somewhere for 3 years and are not able to talk to people. Greet each guest honorably. He might be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet each at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whoever comes. Each has been sent with a purpose from the great beyond. I know, right? So good. So good. One of my favorite. Does not get any better. It's 7:41. I'd like to share another video so we have time to see this before we run out of time of Coleman Barks. Does it sound good with us? Give me a thumbs up.
Sufis love the inner life. You know, the great 300 billion galaxies.
We can't see.
You can't see. I had a feeling something wasn't right there. Let's try it again.
The Sufis love the inner life. You know, the great 300 billion galaxies. That's pretty, a little gaudy, but it's a bit much. Yeah, but the inner life is the real, is the macro world. The micro world is the visible. So this is about that. This we have now is not imagination. This is not grief or joy, not an elation or a sadness. Those come and go. This is the presence that doesn't. It's dawn, Hussam. Here in the splendor of Carl, inside the friend, in the simple truth of what Halaj said. What else could human beings want? When grapes turn to wine, they're wanting this. When the night sky pours by, it's really a crowd of beggars, and they all want some of this that we are now. Created the body, cell by cell, like bees building a honeycomb. The universe and the human body grew from this, not this, from the human body and the universe. This we have now is not imagination. This is not grief or joy, not a judging state or an elation or sadness. Those come and go. This is the presence that doesn't. It's dawn, Hussam.
What else could human beings want? So I am so small. How can this great love be inside me? Look at your eyes. They're small, but they see enormous things. When you feel your lips becoming infinite and sweet, like the moon in the sky, shams of Tabriz will be there too.
That was with David Darling, who I believe is passed. Such a great cellist. Any comments or thoughts? I love that phrase. I am so small. How can this great love be inside of me? But look at your eyes. They're small, but they see great things. It's such a reminder. Oh, I am so small. How can this great love be inside of me? But look at your eyes. They are also small, but they see great things. It's just I just think it's such a reminder. Sometimes, I don't know about you all, but sometimes I often feel I am not capable of the task in front of me. And then I just stop and I breathe and I remind myself just to be really present with it and just do what I can. You know, like Baba said, just do your best and, you know, give the rest to me. And I just have to remind myself of that a lot when I'm trying something that I haven't done before, that's frightening me, that I'm not sure about. I just remind myself, you know, I feel so small, but look at this great love. How can it be inside of me? It's a really beautiful reminder of what we can really do. Here's a poem, and Diane, I'll make sure we get to read Love Dogs again. This one's called Miles of Riverside Cane Bed. The news has come, but you have not heard it. Jealousy has changed to love. Where is yours? The moon has opened its face and its wings made of light. Borrow eyes to see this if yours cannot. Night and day, an arrow come towards you from a hidden bow. If you have no shield and nowhere to hide from the death that is always coming closer, you may as well yield. The copper of your being has already been transmuted to gold. And yet, you fumble in a money bag for coins. You have within you an Egypt, miles of riverside cane bed, the source of all sweetness. Yet you worry whether candy will come from a store outside yourself. Eternal forms, you reach for shapes, yet you are the Joseph. Close your eyes and gaze in the mirror at the flame that illuminates. Your body is a camel going swift and straight towards a pilgrimage. You think you are idling around town on a donkey or heading off the opposite way, but you are not. This caravan is a triumph being drawn directly into light. You have within you in Egypt miles of riverside cane bed, the source of all sweetness. Yet you worry whether candy will come from a store outside of yourself. The copper of your being has already been transmuted to gold, and yet you fumble in a money bag for coins. Isn't that right? So good. Does anybody have a favorite poem we can read or recite before we read Love Dogs again?
I could hear that one again. I just love that. Just that last
That last little bit.
sentence. Yeah.
Just read the whole thing again. How's that? The news has come, but you have not heard it. Jealousy has changed to love. Where is yours? The moon has opened its face and its wings made of light. Borrow eyes to see this if yours cannot. Night and day, an arrow comes towards you from a hidden bow. If you have no shield and nowhere to hide from the death that is always coming closer, you may as well yield. The copper of your being has already been transmuted to gold, and yet you fumble in a money bag for coins. You have within you in Egypt miles of riverside cane bed, the sources of all sweetness. Yet you worry whether candy will come from a store outside yourself. External forms, you reach for shapes, yet you are the Joseph. Close your eyes and gaze in the mirror at the flame that illuminates. Your body is a camel going swift and straight towards a pilgrimage. You think you are idling towards town on a donkey or heading off the opposite way, but you are not. This caravan is a triumph being drawn directly into the light. These are all, by the way, there are several really fantastic translations that Coleman Barks has done of Rumi, but my all-time favorite is this one. These specifically are about Shams of Tabriz and poems that Rumi wrote about Shams of Tabriz, called the Big Red Book. And this is a lovely rendition because each he actually broke it into chapter headings, and even he doesn't really try to describe the poems, because I think that would be you would fail at that, but he makes commentary as and they're just fantastic commentaries. They're really worth reading in themselves. And we know that Rumi, never wrote. He wrote down very little actually of what he said. So this poetry that we have of Rumi's was written down by an assistant, and he basically just said this spontaneously. So grateful to people who wrote it down. I think we have time for one more before we revisit Love Dogs. This is one I think I haven't said in a while, but I think I can remember it. Out, and Coleman Barks did a little piece of it. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I will meet you there. Oh, no, I can't remember the rest of it, but I'll skip that one since I haven't done it. I should have freshened it up in my mind. Oh, darn it. That's such a great poem. Does anybody have Love Dogs there? Would you like to read it? Do you have it handy? I think I have.
I have it in a book someplace.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was, I'll read it again. And I was looking for that poem that I could not remember because I wanted to share it with you, but this is one I just memorized recently and I think I can remember it. I have it here just in case I can't. And it's a topic I think about a lot as a poet and as someone who reads poetry. And the topic is listening, which I think is important for all of us on a spiritual path. And it's called Deep Listening. What is deep listening? It is a greeting from secret ones inside your heart. It is a letter. The branches of your intelligence grow new leaves in the wind of this listening. The body reaches a peace. Rooster sounds come and remind you of your love for dawn. The flutes reed and the singer's lips. The way spirit moves in and out of us as ordinarily and simply as eating and drinking. The dead rise up in this listening. If one cannot hear the trumpet's melody, sprinkle earth on their head and declare them dead. Listen and feel your separation, the unsayable absence. There is a moon inside every human being. Learn to become a companion with it. Give more and more of your life to this listening. As brightness is to dawn, so you are to the one who speaks to the inner ear in your chest. I would sell my tongue and buy 1,000 ears when that one steps near and begins to speak.
I have loved dogs. Do you want me to read it?
Yes, please.
I've
You know,
never
Carl
done it.
Marx is from Georgia, and Georgia, where he worked, is the University of Georgia, and they are famous for the Georgia Bulldogs. And if you're from the University of Georgia or in Georgia, we call them the Dogs. Just what
Well,
it
I'm
is.
from the South, but Southern California. Love Dogs by Rumi. One night a man was crying, Allah, Allah. His lips grew sweet with praising until a cynic said, so, I've heard you calling R, but have you ever gotten any response? The man had no answer to that. He quit praying and fell into a confused sleep. He dreamed he saw Kidder, the guide of souls, in the thick green foliage. Why did you stop praising? Because I've never heard anything back. This longing you express is the return message. The grief you cry out from draws you toward union. Your pure sadness that wants help is the secret cup. Listen to the moan of a dog for its master. That whining is the connection. There are love dogs no one knows the names of. Give your life to be one of them. Jeba.
Yeah, so good. Well, lately I just don't want to read anything else but Rumi. I have a whole shelf of great poets. I'm like, no, I really just want to read Rumi.
When it happened, you shared me a poem that you read out loud, and I thought it was Tracey.
Ah, that was just so sweet. I was very touched by that. Thank you. I'm going to quote you on that.
Yeah, in your book of poetry.
Yeah. I just want you all to know that my poetry was mistaken for Rumi. Anyway, thank you all so much for being with us tonight. It was just my deep delight to share this with you. Every time I think I don't have the time to read poetry or share poetry, I'm always somewhere in the middle of that hour that we're doing this, usually several times in the middle of that hour. I am so grateful to be sharing poetry with you all and to have you all listening. And commenting and sharing how much you love this poetry as well. It means a lot to me to have a community of people.
Can we hit the stop record?
Yeah, so we can. So anyway, thank you all. Jay Baba.
Don't leave yet.
Okay.